I was a teenager living alone in an apartment in the middle of a terrible neighborhood. There were drug dealers, gangs, prostitutes, addicts, and crazy people everywhere, including next door. And that was during the day I tried to be home and stay home at night. I wasn't defenseless or dumb. I had been homeless before managing to get this apartment, so I knew how to take care of myself. Still, being basically a kid, it was scary as hell for me at times. One night, I was up late playing Zelda, just kind of hanging out, when someone banged on my door. It was after midnight and all of my lights were off. No one really knew that I lived there. I thought it was a wandering meth head. I peeked out the windows, which overlooked my front door, the courtyard for the apartment building, and every single other front door. Every apartment was dark, and there was no one in front of my door. And yet, bang bang, more knocks, followed by a friendly male voice. "Hey, can you let me in? I just want to hang out." At this point, I was scared of. It took me a minute to build up the courage, but I peeked through the curtains again, this time being careful to look down near the bottom of the door in case someone was kneeling or even laying down. But there was no one there, and yet the knocks continued all night. Usually he would sound friendly and ask me random things. "Do you have kids? I have toys they can play with. And I have some food here if you're hungry." A few times the tone got a bit more sinister, saying things like, "I know you're in there," and "I don't know why you're making this so hard. I'm your friend." I didn't have a phone and didn't have anyone I could call anyway, except the cops who I deeply mistrusted. I could have snuck out the back window and made a run for it, but it was a bad neighborhood in the middle of the night. It seemed like the more dangerous option. And lastly, the man never actually tried to break in. All I could do was sit there all night, listening to him talk and bang on the door, hoping he'd go away. I continued to peek out my front window and other windows in the apartment, but I never saw him. He eventually did go away as the sun began to rise, probably around 5 a.m. I spent several months in that apartment. He never came back, but I never found out who or what he was.